Previously on Just World.
Hey dog, that Phantom of the Opera shit is weird, yo.
And now for the rest of the review.
I can say now, for the record, I am not the biggest fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and I feel he is one of the most overrated composers on the planet. I'm not saying he's untalented. In every one of his musicals, there is always one piece of music that I absolutely adore, and he composed two great musicals. Just two, Evita and Jesus Christ Superstar. It is my belief that these two shows were as great as they were because Andrew and Tim Rice wrote these as albums before they were stage productions, making it impossible to be reliant on reprises. But as time went on, Andrew Lloyd Webber has become overly dependent on reprises. Every song in those old albums felt new and original as it came. But with Phantom and many following pieces of musical theater, I just kept thinking, oh Jesus Christ, I'm tired of hearing this melody, or oh Lord, this is Angel of Music again. Sometimes reprises work. I will explain that more in my Les Miserables review, which will come one day. But here it just feels like it's shoved in for no particular reason. Andrew Lloyd Webber has never been known as a risky composer. He writes what's marketable and what's simple and easy. I do not have a problem with that. Rocky Horror is quite simple and easy music that's just a lot of fun. But for something as heavy as Phantom, something on the more intricate side should be required. There's only one section where something a bit more complex is written. It is the violin solo played when Christine goes to the cemetery. Also, a lot of the songs from Phantom sound very familiar to other songs. And I'm not even talking about the Pink Floyd fiasco, I'm thinking of more simple things, like this.
I don't talk to strangers, it seems a waste of time to hear someone you don't know recall a life you want to know. No more talk of darkness, forget these wide-eyed fears. I'm here, nothing can harm you, my words will warm and calm you. But all such conversations are dangerous occasions.
But I don't want to harp on the songs, since on their own merit and out of context from the musical, they aren't as bad. But in the context of this story and this musical, it's greatly deterred from its greatness. So here's a list of songs I like and the songs I don't like. The songs I like.
That's all I ask of you.
This song is a great declaration of love and has always been one of my favorites from the show. The words are Charles Hart at his most romantic and idealistic, and the pairing of baritone and soprano in a love song together is something I just loved. The mix of voices is something I just rarely hear. It also serves a story. You can understand why Christine and Raoul would like one another through this song, and this would probably be my most well-received song in this piece. Yeah, I know I just criticized it being kind of a rip-off, but I can't prove anything, so I can still like it. That overture! The overture of the Phantom of the Opera is nothing short of musical genius. It has all the beauty of song mixing that Webber used so well in the overture of Jesus Christ Superstar. With all the power an enormous band can offer, this is without lyrics, yet one of the most powerful musical moments in this show. This song is awesome. It's big, loud, and directed beautifully. Hal Prince really knew exactly how to get this scene to work on a West End stage. The use of fog machines and black ice really sells the illusion of traveling to an underground world by boat. Also, Andrew Lloyd Webber's music finally shines through and proves why the entire world at one point thought he was the king of composers. Charles Hart and Richard Stilgoe's mix of lyrics really made this song feel epic. So grandiose with the use of metaphors like Our Strange Duet and Inside Your Mind. It's also subtextually sensual without being overtly sexual, which one other song irks me with, and another song endears me with. The Point of No Return is by all extensive purposes the final original song in the musical, as everything that follows it is a reprise of other songs. Nevertheless, the entire Don Juan sequence in the musical is just beautiful. The red tint and moody colors greatly reflect the drama of the Phantom's fanfic and the drama of our own story. I love the modernistic mix of music that precedes The Point of No Return, and in all honesty, I was far more interested in the story of the Phantom's Don Juan fanfic opera than the musical I was watching it in. The erotic nature of Point of No Return is given through the title, but the sexual choreography further pushes the feelings towards the audience. The trembling hands of the Phantom finally being touched by a woman were also a nice touch that I always appreciated during the song. This was another scene ruined by the movie, removing the sexual nature from our two leads, due to Emmy Rossum being 16 and not really legal. And they put all the sexual nature upon some weird interpretive dancers, so they could do all the sexy things expected from this song. I will dance fuck you! Allow me to eat your shoulder!
I have a note.
Please!
I am not the biggest fan of comic relief characters. 9 out of 10 times they are unnecessary and annoying. However, the Phantom of the Opera has some great use of comic relief, with more character than any of our romantic leads. Their humor is greatly at the hands of Richard Stilgoe, and this impression which he left on the show is one of the greatest testaments. The scenes of light comedy are put into play when the managers are tormented by the Phantom's notes, and it's wonderful and one of the best scenes in the entire show. Here is a song that used to be on my don't like list due to its useless presence in the story of the Phantom. However, as I've heard this song separated from the show, I've grown a new fondness for it. The ambiguity of the song helps it to be related to any death, not simply to Christine and her father. And if I die in the near future, I'd much rather have this song be played at my funeral than Brother Is Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby.
Seriously, I'm getting tired of hearing that shit at funerals. Hell, I'd rather have this song play over my dead and bum corpse before that one.
Suck a cheetah stick, suck a cheetah stick, suck a cheetah stick, suck a cheetah stick.
And that's a promise. Now here's the songs I don't like, guys. Here you go. This song is loud and bombastic, and it goes on for at least 2 minutes longer than it really should. Despite Maria Bjornsson's beautiful design of things, it's altogether a boring, boring, boring sequence with little effect on the plot. Okay, this is a very, very clever song. I love the different counterpoints between all the characters. On the soundtrack, it sounds great. But 9 out of 10 times, when you see it sung live, it sounds like a jumbled mess. You can't hear what each character is saying, and it sounds like a mildly pretty cacophony of noise. So I have never really liked this song.
The music of the
Oh my goodness, Music of the Night is one of the most boring songs I've ever heard. The music feels as if it goes nowhere. It doesn't exactly move the story forward, aside from setting up the Phantom's need to sensually rub a 16-year-old. But a song does not always need to push the story forward. To paraphrase my personal favorite composer and lyricist Jason Robert Brown, a song needs to feel like it moves forward the characters if it does not the story. Music of the Night is an extreme sex metaphor taken out of a sexual context. This makes me wonder why everyone whines about the sexual nature of one song in Love Never Dies, when nearly every song in the original Phantom was about sex. Shit, the lyrics of the song could more or less be, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me. But I'm sorry, aside from the song's context, it's so boring. It brings a relatively interesting plot to a screeching fucking halt. Maybe it's so boring because it's 6 fucking minutes long. Jesus Christ. It just keeps on going and going and going and going and going. It's just 2 people on stage. There's nothing of real visual merit going on aside from smoke machines dying down. I'm not going to deny that this is impressive for any singer to perform, but it gives so little to keep me interested that I am so bored. This is why I love Les Mis so much. Every song has a purpose for existing. I challenge you to find one that can be easily cut.
And God in his heaven, down in the beer, but he's dead as the slips at me feet.
I said easily cut. I had a hard time dealing with that one. Nevertheless, the longest solo song in the entire show of Les Mis is 4 minutes, Bring Him Home. And that's also a song where it's nothing more than a performer on stage. But the song keeps building upon high notes that are difficult to begin with until it's a bombastic mix of music and a performer's falsetto. It's a wonderful sequence, and short. It gets right back to the action afterwards. It doesn't meander around like Music of the Night does. Oh, Jesus Christ, I need to move on.
Think of me.
This is a boring song used only to show the audience that Christine isn't a terrible singer. The instrumentation is simplistic to a crippling fault, but the lyrics are simple and romantic enough that I don't despise the song. In fact, its simplicity is quite charming. Charles Hart knows when to use intricate words, and when to keep it simple. If only the song itself were better. Now, I know what you're thinking, that the songs are evenly matched between the good and the bad, so I can't really hate the music that much. Well, on the surface, that's right, but we must be reminded that this was a late Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, which means it's reliant on reprises. And there are far more repetitions of the songs I don't like than the ones that I do. So I'm just having a bombast of a bunch of songs I don't like, and every now and then a song or melody that I enjoy. So this is personally why I don't like the songs to Phantom. But that's not to say that you're wrong for liking them. I love that people can find entertainment from the show, and I don't see them as stupider than me or less founded on their beliefs. If you want to do your own review about how amazing the Phantom of the Opera is, do it. Please, I'll watch it. I love seeing the creativity of others who enjoy stage musicals. Believe me, I do. So please, don't hate me as I give the Phantom of the Opera a 2 out of 5, because you can give it a 5 out of 5.
It's over now, the music of the night.
The release of the stage adaptation of The Phantom of the Opera brought about massive interest in so many Phantom-related things. Some quite weird, some pretty wonderful. Let us dive in with the same nature we did to the pre-musical incarnations. The Phantom of the Opera, the 1989 version. Right after the musical came out, then came this film, which is on the surface an adaptation that exists for no other reason than to cash in on the very successful musical of the same name. But this is a horror film starring the man who I claim as the king of horror, Robert Englund, as the Phantom, here named Eric Dessler. Eric Dessler is a man who sold his soul to a midget devil to have his music be adored, but in doing so, his face now looks like fried chicken.
The world will love you for your music, but that's all it will love you for.
I always knew the devil was a midget. I don't trust you, Peter Dinklage. The Phantom doesn't wear a traditional mask. Instead, he kills people and skins them and uses their skin as a mask. It's beautiful. Also, there's time travel in this film. It begins in 1989 New York and then travels to the 1800s. Why? Who cares? It has 5 minutes at the end of the film, which reminds me of how awesome a modern-day Phantom of the Opera film would be. The music of the film is also friggin' beautiful. Its adaptation of Don Juan Triumphant is something that has never left my head since I first heard it. This is my personal favorite of the Phantom films. I'm a horror buff and Robert Englund is a fabulous actor. An absolutely wonderful film if you're willing to turn your brain off for a second. By the way, spoiler alert, the Raoul equivalent gets stabbed and burned alive. It is awesome. The Phantom of the Opera, 1990. This is a 3-hour TV movie starring Charles Dance and Terry Polo, based on Arthur Kopit's book for his then unproduced stage show called Phantom, which was released a year after this film was. This is a fluffy adaptation of The Phantom, where he hangs out with his daddy all the time. The Phantom has mommy issues, and holy shit, Christine is blonde? Good job, TV show. Hit the nail right on the head. This isn't a bad film, and I recommend it as a jumping point from the musical world to the world of the Phantom films. Mary Yeston and Arthur Kopit's Phantom. Here is a musical that shares the same book as the Phantom TV film. It's essentially the same with some really good music. I prefer it to the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Give it a listen if you have the time.
Well, if you are the creator of such beauty, why have you forsaken the world?
What do they know of beauty?
The Phantom of the Opera, 1991 musical. Remember how I said that Mary Yeston and Arthur Kopit's Phantom was better than Webber's? This one isn't. This one is awful and makes the madness of the Webber musical look like musical genius. Wait, is that why you all liked Webber's show? The Phantom of the Opera, 1998. I love this film. This film is freaking amazing for all the wrong reasons. In this movie, the Phantom doesn't have a deformity. He rapes Christine, he has sex with rats, Christine doesn't wear a bra, and so much gore. It's a beautiful looking film, but everything in it is so awful. I really want to do a review, but there's not much I can say about this film that hasn't been said. Watch it. I promise you, it'll be a fun evening. It's The Room quality of awful.
You're a very naughty girl. You know, you shouldn't fly.
The Phantom of the Opera, 2004. Alright, in 2004, Joel Schumacher adapted the Webber stage musical into a stupid movie. A very stupid movie. It's not stupid in a funny way either. It's just stupid. I feel like there was something else after the movie Phantom related. I just don't know. Hey, what's that? I'm hearing something. I feel a presence I haven't felt in a long time. I can't. I'm pretty sure I can't handle that at the moment. I've had my fill of Phantom of the Opera. I need a break. But one day, I will take on Love Never Dies. One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine. Thank you for following me on this adventure in the Phantom time and space. We will be back to normality next week. It'll be fun. And I'll finally be reviewing something by a composer I love, and I can explain to you where I think good music and good storytelling is. Next week, I'm reviewing Jason Robert Brown's Parade. I'm Jess, and get out of my world.